Welcome to the Kinesio Outdoors podcast, where my goal is to educate you on how to safely enjoy exercise indoors and outdoors, inspire you to experience life outside, and encourage you to live a more active life closer to nature. Today on the podcast, I have my new buddy Tyler. Thanks, Tyler, for taking time out of your day to join me. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. It's a little hot. A
Dude,
little
it's
hot lately.
hot. It is like a sauna outside.
Yeah, I'm currently in the guest room at our place. We have three bedrooms, which is nice because we have the two of us, a baby, and then one on the way. And this guest room, the door's always closed. So that way the AC focuses on the rest of the condo. And it's hot in here.
Yeah.
So,
I had to sneak out into the garage because the kids inside get kind of rowdy.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I kind of have this like, well, my family and I, we built a new home after living in the city, and knowing what I was into and what I wanted, I had to make space for an archery shop. So I built an archery shop, and maybe it's my office. I don't know, but yeah, I spend more time out here than I actually do inside. It seems like.
That's too funny. Yeah, we're currently looking and I'm trying to find a place with a shed. I just need a shed. I just need a place for my bow press, for my fletching jig, and that's about it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, man. I was super intimidated uh, working on my own stuff, but I just, it just well, it first started with cutting my own arrows, fletching my own arrows, and then I'd tie in a D loop, but without a press or a vise, it kind of got hard. So I
yeah,
just bullet, and instead of buying a new bow, I just invested in a press and a vise and all the tools, and just watching lots of YouTube videos and just been learning how to make sure my bow stays in tune. Built a paper tuner, and man, I'm obsessed with archery, which I never thought I would be. I only picked up a bow, which wasn't that long ago, 2018.
wow,
Uh, Picked up a bow only to hunt elk, and then just kind of went into the rabbit hole of archery, and found out how fun it is shooting 3D and targets. And yeah, I was I started as a rifle hunter. Um, so, but I do archery. I love it, and that's where you and I kind of met recently.
yeah. Why don't you? Actually, I'll tell the story here. So, um, our now mutual friend Dan Staten, shout out Dan, who's never gonna listen to this. He had his training day at Spokane Valley Archery, and then Elk Shape HQ, and then the Ruck. I was able to do all three. I think you had something to do, so all you did was a shoot. And there was like 7 or 8 of us guys, I think, that showed up for shooting, 7 a.m. And for whatever reason, you and me seem to kind of be just hanging back a bit, a little quieter. Come to find out, both went to Oregon State, and we both teach at the college level. We're both into bow hunting more than rifle hunting, both family men. So it was super fun to get to talk to you. And it's interesting because I talked to you more than anybody else during the workout. I talked to like nobody
Oh,
during the ruck. I was just walking by myself a lot. Yeah. So it's kind of funny that we gravitated towards each other.
I went to that. I saw his Instagram post that he was going to meet up to do a day training, and um, I was like, I don't really want to work out in front of guys. Plus, I had obligations with the kids later that day. But when it came to shooting, I only shoot alone.
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of live out in the sticks, and kind of, when I'm not at work teaching, I'm more introverted. I tend to just be kind of a solo guy. And I was shaking like a leaf when we were shooting. And that's why I do it, is just to get that pressure. Because I had an upcoming hunt, and I was like, I need to just kind of just push myself a little bit more, just shoot under pressure. Because it's way different than when you're
Yeah.
shooting yourself. Like you can have some, you could, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have bad days shooting alone, but yeah. it helped for sure. And that SBA range has got some good uphill and downhill shots too. So I just wanted to make sure my third axis
Yeah,
was dialed without. I admit I've hopped on the roof before and uh,
that's awesome.
to do that, but it's way easier out there.
Yeah, definitely. So, before we dive too much into where you're currently at, let's talk about what it is that got you so ingrained and procurement of food off the landscape. And the reason I say that is you seem to be an exceptional, I'm not going to say farmer because you don't have like a giant farm, but you definitely have a really nice garden from talking to you. And you're quite the fisherman, quite the hunter. So, kind of where'd that start for you?
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know how far back you want to go. Um,
You can go back to the beginning if you want.
well, as a kid, my father taught me good work ethics and responsibilities. I had to manage our lawn, and I helped my mother in the garden, and it was more of a chore. I hated it. Uh,
Hmm.
and then, after high school, with the routine of, you got to go to school, I was just working on an associate's, and I took more art classes than anything, just kind of going through the motion, not sure in what I was going to do in life. Had no plan.
Yeah.
Uh, had a summer job at a greenhouse, and the owner noticed some of my work ethic, and that I, kind of had a green thumb, and she recommended this horticulture program at the local community college. Um, she went through it, and she's like, "Well, you're good at this. You should sign up." Well, I was just finishing a associate of arts, and they had this associate of applied science in greenhouse nursery management. So I signed up for that 2-year degree. It was first quarter. I understood that there's an actual science to plants and growing, and I was hooked, man. And I think it's just a lot of my personality. I think whatever I'm doing, I just go all in. I become obsessed. So I can't have too many hobbies, otherwise
Yeah.
time. So I just get obsessed with something, and I dug so deep into horticulture. It's all I thought about from it must have been like 20 to I mean now I still do, but um, I actually went through that program and ended up applying for a greenhouse manager's job at the college.
Hmm.
Graduated and obtained that, and I was managing that greenhouse at the Spokane Community College. I think it was about 14 years. I was a grower, and primarily I was focused and interested in ornamentals. And so my wife and I, which we've been together, I mean, gosh, we must have met when we were 19 or 20. We've been together for a long time. We'd play house, and I would garden in these rentals. But then
Hmm.
at our first home, I mean, I had a blank canvas. So I gardened hard. Like I bought more plants than I can fit into the space, and it was just like a jungle. And I mean, it was a very small postage stamp sized lot, but I could shoot 40 yards if I went out into the street because I
Yeah.
had trees to shoot through, and I had like all these little lanes. And we lived there for about 12 years. The garden just got bigger and bigger, and it was all ornamental. There's no lawn, just all trees, shrubs, perennials. Um, it was done. I mean, it was the if you call it a painting, it was done. I couldn't do any more gardening there. Um, in our family, I've got a son and a daughter, 12 and 8 years old, and that was a starter home. So we actually sold that house during COVID, or like shortly after COVID, when the market was just booming.
Yeah.
Sold that house by owner, so we had quite a bit of equity built up, and we had to get out of town. I needed more space. I didn't want my neighbors watching me, and we actually moved south of Turnbull Wildlife Refuge, south of Cheney. So we're quite a ways out of town. It's probably like a 45-minute drive,
Hmm.
but very secluded. I mean, I've got all the space I need now. And I mean, I could be a farmer. I'd probably consider myself more of a small farmer.
Yeah.
I do more vegetable gardening now than I ever did because at the same time that we were building this house, uh, the current or the former instructor was taking a position back home up in Canada. So the teaching job in our program kind of just fell in my lap. I still do apply for it, but I was like, I got to at least give it a try to see if I like it. I'd been around it for almost 15 years, so I knew how the program worked. I was like, well, I really like growing. I'm super passionate as a greenhouse grower. Um, and I should back up a little bit. I was the greenhouse manager for quite some years, and then I was like, there's got to be more to this. I need to just keep pushing. I felt like I was settling, so I pursued my undergraduate at Oregon State University, uh,
Nice.
all online while I was working full time. I just do part time credits. I think it took me like 6 years to get a bachelor's degree, just to have in the back of my pocket and to just kind of get that extra bit of knowledge. And OSU is like one of the top horticulture schools in the nation. So, paid for it out of pocket, just one bite at a time. Got that. Didn't think I'd ever use it, but then when this teaching position came up, um, it didn't require a master's was preferred, but um, minimum qualifications was a bachelor. So it's like, well, I got to try.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I got a job almost like the first quarter of my educational career. I fell in love with it. I was like, man, there's like so much to share with what I've learned over the years. Um, it's almost like you got to take two steps back and not assume that people know everything about all these plants. I mean, what's easy for someone that's been doing it many years is brand new to someone that's never even heard of it. So at the same time that I was taking that position, um, I was working that summer. I was growing poinsettias, preparing for my first fall quarter of teaching. And it just so happened that year, I drew a once in a lifetime mountain goat tag that opened September 1st. And oh my gosh, so much like weight on my shoulders. Like I've got a new job that starts mid September. I've got this once in a lifetime tag that I need to get filled before work starts. And I was building a new home at the same time and living with my in laws for a year
Hmm.
with two kids while we built this home. So, uh, I mean, it's all a blur. I cannot believe I actually survived it. Um, but just kept my nose to the grindstone. And I'm in my third year of teaching. Um, but when we got this new canvas with all this space, I actually picked up some courses that, I was uncomfortable. Like I admit to some of my students too, like I'm probably underqualified, not an expert, but I had to just dig deep, got way into vegetable gardening. So I had done some in a rental house probably 10 years ago and went all in on vegetable gardening and got burnt out on it, realizing how much work it was with
Hmm.
the way that I did it. Um, but as I was introduced to this new course, teaching intro to vegetable gardening, um, I mean, I had to know it. So I do it now every day, and I'm still learning. I wouldn't consider myself an expert when it comes to vegetable gardening, but um, it's probably like the ornamental stuff. We planted foundational plants, trees, shrubs, very like low maintenance, low water use
Hmm.
plants around the house, but Most of the work has gone into. I've got like a small um, lavender field. It's about just over 100 lavender plants, and then a modest sized vegetable garden. It's amazing what you can really do. I would say that the size of the vegetable garden is no bigger than the footprint of our home. It's not overwhelming. I don't have to have a tractor to garden,
That's
although I
nice.
have one for other areas of the property to like, keep natural mowing down. And
Yeah, of course.
man, like the amount of food that we've gotten out of this small vegetable garden, I'm giving things away. Like
Mhm.
there's, oh, I grew one entire row of carrots this year, and I had to stop harvesting about three-quarters of the way through because our pantry is just full of, we got like 55 quart jars. I love dilled carrots. Like if you like dilled pickles, like that crunch, a dilled carrot is even better. I just love them. But and we probably eat 2 jars a week. So last year I didn't have enough. So this year we just canned a ton. But I still like I was giving carrots away.
Mhm.
And I just harvested potatoes last week. Last year I had 2 wheelbarrow loads. I had more than enough come. I was giving them to my veggie garden students in April because I still had way too many. They went too far into the winter, so I had fewer this year. But man, potatoes so easy, um, and I'm still learning on like I've grown things to where it's like, well, yeah, it's fun and easy to grow, but do I consume it? Do I use it?
Yeah.
Um, it's growing's the fun part, but then like I admit I can cook hamburgers and like steak. Otherwise, my wife does all the cooking. So I have to ask her like, what do you need more of? What don't you like? Like, last year she didn't have enough zucchini. This year we have way too much zucchini. So I'm still kind of tweaking on like what we use the most. Um, but it's across the board. Like we've got onions, potatoes, green beans, carrots, beets. I don't grow lettuce in the middle of the summer just because it's too hot and it tends to bolt. Um, so I'm having to buy lettuce this time of year. Same thing with spinach. Uh, but we grow asparagus. Then we've got berry crops, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, stuff that we used to buy at Costco frozen, but now it's like, man, like why don't we've got the freezers. We
Yeah.
just stock the freezers. And it like last night I harvested green beans. So easy. Like I you shouldn't have to buy green beans. And you can easily vacuum seal them, put
Yep.
them in the freezer, and they're way better than the stuff you're going to get in the store. Because if you see stuff in the store, it's last year's crop. It wasn't harvested last week or a month ago.
Yeah.
It's last crop. It's just been in cold storage. But yeah, I love it, man. It's so rewarding, and I think that's what I told a few of the guys at Dan's training day is like there's nothing more satisfying than sitting down like we always have family dinner. Like it's just that you gotta have dinner with the family. And when you look down at your plate and you're like, man, most of what's on the plate, well, like for example, we had celery in a potato salad. I'm like, everything on this plate I put here except the celery. It's
Yeah.
just a feeling, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
super cool. And that's why I wanted you to come on here because um, I'm a really big fan of being self-sufficient and doing things myself.
yeah.
And where I grew up in California, in Shaver Lake, the soil there was just not great for growing. So my dad would bring in truckloads of like topsoil.
Hmm.
And that was really helpful. But as we got busy with sports, we didn't have as much time for the garden. So that kind of fell off. But just know, Tyler, next spring, depending on when we buy, As soon as we buy, maybe like a week after we move in, I'm gonna have you over and I'm
Yep.
gonna have you tell me exactly what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the biggest tip in that veggie garden lecture. I say it almost every week. The first thing you should do, I mean, obviously site selection and design is part of it, but like people want to get their hands dirty, compost, add
Mhm.
compost. I did it
Mhm.
panel gardening when I was doing the landscape and like trees and shrubs.
Yeah.
Brought in so many truckloads of compost, you can't have enough.
Hmm.
And that's here. I mean, I was doing it truckload after truckload every time I'd go through town. And then I still wanted more. So I ended up actually getting a dump truck with
Yeah.
two dump truck loads, full loads, just compost, and built the beds because out here it's well, it's scab land, but where there is soil, it's pretty heavy clay, which is
Yeah.
kind of contains nutrients and water. Uh, but to break up that clay, uh, compost, any poor soil, whether you have a sandy soil or clay soil, if you add compost to it, it's going to improve it. So I swear by it. I just, and I even top dress rather than buy fine bark mulch,
Hmm.
which is probably about 28 $30 a yard. I'll just buy $12 a yard compost,
Hmm.
just as dark as a bark fine, and
Hmm.
dress with that, and then it breaks down.
Yeah.
And so, um, yeah, if it, if no matter what your budget is, which I admit I'm kind of a frugal guy, um, $12 a yard, it's a no brainer.
Yeah.
It's
That's really good.
yeah,
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I definitely want to let you go because I'm fascinated by that stuff. I've got the hunting thing. I don't want to say it's down, but I'm pretty good at shooting stuff. Fishing, I need to get into that, which it seems like you're quite the fisherman. But this gardening thing, my wife really wants to get into it.
yeah,
And selfishly, that's why I wanted you to be on this podcast. I wanted to learn more about it from someone who's an expert. So,
yeah. About what you want to consume, and so yeah, back to like the finesse work of it. Like
hmm.
maybe you love cherry tomatoes off the bush. I mean, there's probably a few people I know that don't, but man, they're like candy. But last year I grew 12 tomato plants. I mean, I can't, no one can eat that many tomatoes.
Yeah, that's
And
a lot of plants.
yeah, so, you know, decide what you want and start small. Otherwise, you like in my early 20s, I went too hard and too fast, and I got overwhelmed with all the weeding and harvesting. And honestly, there's some crops that I don't think I'll ever grow just because. I mean, potatoes are kind of on the edge because you can get a whole, you know, pound bag of them for 99 cents in the winter. But those are last year's crop. Uh, it is pretty nice digging up potatoes, and it is easy. But they're space hogs. Corn is another one that
Mhm.
I grew it once and I was like, man, I had ears of corn for about 2 weeks. And then the rest of the time I'm still going to the grocery store to buy ears of corn. So
Yeah.
kind of a space hog. So I don't know if I'll do corn too much, but man, when we went to Costco or go to Costco, we were buying a ton like strawberries and blueberries
Yeah.
every and spinach and romaine lettuce. All those are so easy. And if I grow too much, we have chickens too.
Yep.
They, they'll eat what you don't eat. So um, they're great. And once we moved out here, I was like, I don't know if I know what I'm doing, but it turned out that chickens, I mean, the kids take care of them. Really, it's not hard at all.
Yeah.
And then the eggs, the amount of eggs you get tends to pay for the feed.
Yeah,
Um,
I think what we need to do is once I get a place, you and me will make like a few part video series just to show people like that this is doable.
oh yeah,
Because everything you're saying to me, and I understand what you're saying, I've done quite a bit of landscaping type things. And it sounds to me still like quite a bit of work what you're saying, and you're making it sound like, oh yeah, it's just like it's another Tuesday. So I think it'd be beneficial for us to do that. I'll have to keep bugging you about that once we get a place, so we can get that going. But now I want to ask you how you got into hunting. So you talked about hard work, you talked about getting into horticulture, and your teaching. How'd you get into hunting?
Yeah. Um, like a lot of guys, my dad hunted. He hunted probably in the good old days in
Hmm.
the 80s. He talks even about the late 60s. My family's from Northwest Montana,
Okay.
but because of that thick country, their rituals or methods of hunting, it was road hunting. And as a teenager, I followed along and I did that. And I wasn't against it, but it never got me hooked.
Yeah.
And then you know, late teens, I'm not necessarily doing so much with my parents as I'm kind of a young man
Yep.
determining what to like, and didn't hunt for a long time, and probably I must have been like 25 or 26. It started blowing up on YouTube. Like um, remember one of the first channels I saw was like the Hush, and Born and Raised.
Mhm.
And that I remember seeing Born and Raised videos when they first came out, and I was like, man, there's these elk that bugle in your face, and you can hunt them with a bow. So I just went down to the Sportsman's Warehouse. Actually, a guy I work with, I met through a greenhouse renovation. Is my buddy Clint. I showed him those videos. He's like, dude, Sportsman's Warehouse has this sale on these bows, and these are just like, beginner bows. Like,
Yep. Yeah, the whole kit comes ready to shoot or ready to hunt. Yep, I know what you're talking about. That's a great starting spot for anybody.
so I just uh, this was like 2000, not even that long ago, 2018. Um, well, when I saw those first social or YouTube videos, I picked up a rifle, and my father-in-law was an avid hunter. Really into sheep and like guided hunts in BC, and um, he's I think one short of the Grand Slam with sheep, but and he reloads and has got a rifle range. So got into reloading and was hunting with a rifle for a couple of years and got some decent bucks and one elk with a rifle. But then when I saw the archery thing, I was like, man, I got to try that. So brand new to it, we just picked a spot, Northwest Montana,
Hmm.
and it just luckily got into elk and had a screaming bull in my face. And like he was under 100 yards and just was hooked. Like, dude, I got to do more of this. And I think it took me 2 years to find the arrow bull. And um, now, man, I prefer. I still pick up a rifle and occasionally shoot at the range, but I shoot my bow every day. I put in for archery tags. I remember my first bull that I shot. It was actually a rifle tag, but you could use a bow, and I just used the bow. I was like, I want to do it with the bow. So and then just like the other things I'm into, I went all in, and every year I was applying for more and more states, and I think I'm in the system for most states, not Oregon or California, but I play that game, so I'm always dreaming and chasing tags, and it just leads me to places that I never go to,
Yeah.
and kind of keeps me motivated through the year. So I love application season. It's kind of my way of gambling. Like, ooh, what's going to come up? You never know. My card's going to get hit, and yeah, just if I don't draw, I'm building points. And this year I actually drew a general Utah archery deer tag. and I'd never even set foot in Utah.
Hmm.
Um, I've never even hunted mule deer with a bow. I've hunted mule deer in the rut with a rifle in Montana, and really enjoy that. I'll actually probably do some of that this November. Who knows? It. I'm headed out in a couple of days actually, so the season opens this Saturday, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Um, but yeah, that Utah hunt, man, like I never hunted that high of altitude before, and have read the forums like altitude sickness, beware, and trained all summer, just trying to stretch out my lungs and keep the legs in shape. And actually talked to my doctor too and got a prescription
Yep.
that's supposed to help with altitude sickness. So took that a day before going down there. Didn't have time, or really like I had time in the summer, but I don't have time away from family.
Yeah.
Um, to go down there and scout. The unit was 1,000 miles away, so I did all the scouting. I made phone calls, talked to the biologist, former tag holders. It was just a general tag. It wasn't a limited entry, like high trophy unit. But went down there. The season opened up on the 17th of August, um, which I've hunted antelope that early. Usually it opens around the 15th in Montana. But I'm somewhat new to the early season, like hot weather hunts.
Yep.
And we got down there and it was 103 degrees. And oh my gosh, the air was so thin. Uh, when we set foot out of the truck, and I looked into just from the road, looked into this basin of where we are gonna go hike into. I had a friend go with me that he was just like, man, I want to see some country. I'll go with you. Took time away from his family, my buddy Mitch, and both of us have never been down there. And man, the day one, I was like, this is going to be impossible. Like,
Yeah.
I was already down on myself from day one. And we went down 3 days prior to the season opening to just kind of get a lay of land and to scout. I had several basins that I wanted to get into. I'd always dreamt, well, for not always, but for maybe 4 or 5 years now, I see these high country mule deer hunts on YouTube, and I'm like, dude, that is awesome. Like that is such a challenge. Like you're up high, you're glassing, and then you got to play everything right. And that's exactly I wanted to do that. So I got my money's worth. I went down there and we scouted for 3 days. And the whole time, every day, I'm just like, man, we would see lots of 2 points and 3 points. But the day before the opener, probably around like noon, midday, because it was a general season tag, it was a circus. There were
I bet.
so many hunters. Like we would be checking out a new spot, hiking into like a new little pocket, and there's a guy already in there. So I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna end up tagging like a 2 or 3 point and be disappointed, or I'm gonna go home empty-handed. And just that's where I really enjoy having a hunting partner is because when you're solo, it's really easy to throw in the towel and say,
Yep.
"What am I here? Like, I need to go home. I got responsibilities. I need to get things done at home." But
Yep. You miss the kids, miss the wife.
yeah, but
Yep.
if you've got someone, a good hunting partner, usually the it balances out to where when you're down, the other guy's like, "Dude, we got plenty of time. Just rest, and then we're going to go over into the next basin."
Hmm.
vice versa. I do the same. Like your hunting partner too gets worn out. I mean, you're putting on the miles. You're sick of the mountain house and the oh my gosh, the I got sick of bars so bad that altitude. I don't know if it was the prescription medication, but
Yeah,
my appetite was so poor. I think I lost 6 pounds in 5 days.
that's wild.
Yeah. Um, but anyway, opening day. Um, we see some bucks, but nothing that I wanted to put a tag on. And but I practice stalks. I,
Mhm.
okay, there's small bucks, and from what I see in all these YouTube videos, these bachelor groups of deer,
Yep.
be a big one in that group, hopefully. So I'd put in on these stalks, play the wind right, and sit on them like for 20, 30 minutes and just even draw back just to like get that edge off. Like, okay, but we can do this, but let's move on to the next ones. Um, and it was day one. I actually found a good group of bucks, 3 bucks. I came in from above them, and they busted me at about 60 yards. Didn't bound away, but were looking at me. And
Hmm.
I backed out slowly behind some aspens, and then they walked off. So I gave it maybe 20 minutes and then followed their tracks in the direction they were going and tracked them for maybe a half a mile and actually ended up pushing those deer into some other hunters and the one hunter actually shot one of those bucks. So that's kind of a deflating, you know, part of the hunt where I was like, man, and I actually talked to the guy prior in the day and we exchanged numbers, um, just so that wouldn't like bump into each other. And he sent me a picture of the buck, and I'm like, oh man, like that's what I wanted right there. And
Yeah, did you say you're welcome?
I didn't want to take that away from him, but
Yeah, that's true.
it was a respectable buck, like a nice 4 point, pretty heavy bases, pristine velvet. But yeah, ended up hunting the next day and everything was stirred up. The wind, there was no predominant wind that day, so it was dead silent. Uh, I think we only saw 1 2 point all day that was
Wow.
super ish. And I was like, man, it's all stirred up now.
Yeah.
We might have to pull out of here and go somewhere else. Well, the plan was let's just finish tonight and we'll see how we feel in the morning. So we actually dropped down to this mountain bike trail. It's a heavily used like recreational um, destination for hikers and bikers. We hopped down onto this trail just to kind of take it easy, and it's getting chilly. So I got the pack off and I'm putting a layer on, and my friend Mitch, he's looking through his binos and he's like, there's 2 small bucks down in these aspen below us. I go, okay, well, I'll practice stalking. We got about 2 hours or even less than that. It's coming up on um, dusk, but
So
anyway,
almost the golden hour.
yeah, yeah. And I want to like hit a buck and then be tracking in the dark. And he's like,
Yeah,
go.
that's not fun. I've done it. It's not fun.
And I'm colorblind, so I have a tough time seeing blood, which is another great reason to have a buddy with me.
So let me interject real quick because I also am red-green color deficient. I'm gonna get it pretty soon. Black Diamond makes a headlamp that has a blue light,
Really,
and supposedly the blue light helps the blood stand out.
really. Is
Yeah,
that?
so you might want to look into that.
Ooh, yeah. When you might have to share the link to that when you find it. But
Yeah, yeah. When I get one, I'll show you and I'll let you know how I like it. But because they sell like blood tracking flashlights, and it's actually a blue light because the blue, the way that your eye works through like the cones and the rods, for whatever reason, your eyes can actually see the red shining better with that blue light rather than the traditional white or like kind of yellow halogen lights. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll let you know how I like it before I tell you to go buy one, but that's
Yeah.
something to think about.
So now I'm intrigued. I am definitely a gear junkie, so I'll probably start looking at that.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, so 2 hours before dark.
Yeah, so I just go again, I go into like practice stalking these smaller bucks, and I get impatient looking at these little bucks. They're completely unaware of me, chowing down on sambucus or elderberry. I mean, you can hear their teeth grinding. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, right on them. Um, and I'm like, okay, I'm done looking at these little bucks. I'm gonna move on. And I take about 5 steps, expecting them to blow out. They don't blow out, but I look out of the corner of my eye uphill into the aspens, and I see a black eye through some of the leaves,
Yeah.
and the rack turn and go uphill. And I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's a mega. I just, they always look bigger when like their ears are back. When they're
Yeah, yeah. And when you see them for a split second out of the corner of your eye, they look monstrous. Yeah.
like giant buck, I'm like, holy moly. Uh, he, he's going uphill, but he's not bounding away.
Uh-huh.
But I see that there's like an opening, an open meadow past these trees. So he's going uphill, and I just go laterally with the hill to that edge and start going up the edge. Him and 4 other bucks come out all together, are grouped up, looking straight down at me, like super tightly grouped up. Like I all I see is all these rats. I'm like, oh my gosh. The biggest one is in the back, and I ranged them as a group like 60 yards even. It was like 60.2. Oh, I already had an arrow knocked from stalking those small deer. Um, so he takes 2 steps out from that group, and I immediately draw back. And I don't even remember looking through a peep or leave. All I remember is that arrow going exactly where I wanted it. Like I mean, the practice paid off. I shoot 60 yards at a 3D target every day. Like it was muscle memory. I put that low pin on them, and it was just picture perfect. And complete pass through. It was uphill, 17 degrees. The only reason I know that slope is because I went to where he was standing and ranged
Yeah.
my where I shot, and I was like, well, 17 degrees, that's decent. Complete pass through, blood on both sides. I mean, I could see this blood trail. Uh, because when after I hit him, he donkey kicked and ran to the opposite tree line, and before he hit that tree line, he kind of stumbled.
Yeah.
Uh, my buddy never even saw any of this action because I had snuck into those small deer. He was still waiting on me, so I went back to him and like, dude, I'm shaking. Like I just shot a giant. Like this was the biggest thing I'd seen in 5 days. And he's like, no, you didn't. And I go, dude, I got to show you what happened. So I played it out for him. And he's like, well, let's go up and look for where he was standing. And he's like, dude, there's your arrow. Uh, I last minute before this hunt, I completely switched my broadheads because I didn't have confidence. I was shooting a fixed QAD Exodus.
Yep. Good head.
Yeah, I've had good luck with them on elk, but I think I increased my bow speed with some new strings this year, and I just wasn't super confident. I'm shooting paper perfectly, but I was getting some erratic flight with that broadhead, so I just wasn't like 100%
Yeah.
confident. So last minute, I bought the Beast mechanicals.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
man, like they are just darts. They just are exactly with your field point. and that thing did. I mean, it was a bloodbath. The tracking was like, I mean, just you didn't even have to really look down. It was all over. And he went 70 yards and piled up, and he piled up upside down to where I couldn't see all his tines. So I thought it was ground shrinkage. I'm like, oh, he's a 3x1 because his tines are in the grass.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and then we get like right above him, and I pull him out of the grass, and we're our both our jaws hit the floor. Like, it was just, I was on top of the world, man. Like, uh, everything I wanted for my first archery deer.
Oh, great buck.
Yeah, yeah. The velvet, like flawless. He's
Yeah.
not a typical at all. Like he's uneven, unsymmetrical. But I mean, I had to drop him off at the taxidermist. I, we t we got to the truck that night at like 1 a.m. just exhausted. I will say, um, the whole time hunting mule deer, I missed hunting elk because you can't smell them,
Yep.
can't hear them. You,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, this makes elk hunting look easy. Like I can't wait for September. Uh, but boy, packing out a mule deer way easier than packing
Yeah.
out.
It's nice.
Yeah, we did it in one trip, and I was like, oh, that we when we got to the truck, it was like, oh, it wasn't too bad actually. It was a nice clear night to look up at the stars, and um, yeah, dude, just great country, beautiful first time in that state, and yeah, and the whole there's lots of stories along with that hunt. Like I stalked in on a black bear for fun. We saw great bulls that were unaware of us being around. It's just it's man, the places hunting takes you. Oh man, I everyone seems to have their honey holes, and you always want to go back to your honey hole, but
Yeah.
you draw these new tags and discover new places. It's like, oh man, that this is going to make next year's decision even harder. Like, where do I
Yeah.
want? And that's what I'm doing. Um, just in a couple of days, I'm going to a place I've never set foot in. I only know it from satellite imagery, and the harvest statistics and a few
Yeah.
phone calls with the biologist. There's elk on there, so I've got about a week to fill that tag, and once work starts, then I'll become the weekend warrior. If that tag isn't filled,
Yeah.
uh, stick a little bit closer to home and hit up a few spots that I know of. But
Yeah, that's exactly the boat I'm in. If you see my posts, I've been scouting every weekend. I actually found a bugling bull um, on Saturday,
yeah,
which was pretty cool. Off camera, I'll tell you where it was, but it was pretty cool to find that. I wasn't expecting to find that. So, yeah, Weekend Warriors it's kind of the way it works if you're in higher education. You kind of have time off, but you really don't.
yeah,
So, kind of the way it goes. Well, thanks for sharing that story, Tyler. That was super fun to see on Instagram. I mean, obviously, you posted it after you were successful. So, the way you posted it was kind of fun. It's like, here's a blood trail. And I'm like, ooh, is this happening? And then I realized, like, the second post, I was like, oh, he's just like photo dumping now. But it was super cool the way that you posted that. Great buck for anybody. I don't know anybody that could look at that buck and be like, oh, it needs a couple years. Like, it's a really sweet buck, super unique, super cool. And pretty impressive that you were able to get it done out of state, never been there in just a few days.
yeah. That's there's a lot of like negatives that people can talk about with social media, but there's all these, if you want to call them influencers, but these experienced hunters that are inspiring, and they're very selective. It's amazing how many of them are very approachable.
Yep.
If you're not asking them for a spot, but you're asking them for tactics, and you're admitting that you're a rookie, and maybe it's a gear related question, or maybe it's like, what are these animals feeding on this time of year? I had half a dozen guys kind of like I would send them waypoints like, you know, they've got all the entire United States to hunt. They've got their honey holes, but I'm sharing like, what do you think about this spot? And they would more than welcome like, yeah, go there or not. Don't, that looks too rocky. Don't go in there. And I
Yeah.
there's several guys on Instagram that helped me along the way. By no means did they give me a spot, but they gave me their opinions
Yep.
on that I was looking at. And man, just super supportive, good guys. And they know that I think they know that they have some influence on new hunters like myself.
Yeah, and it's fun. So I've met, I'll just say the names. I've met Cameron Haynes, I met Dan, and I've met Trent and Trevor from Born and Raised. All
Yeah,
four of those guys were super nice, just totally fine. Like, oh yeah, I met Cam, he's on a run, and then he was hiking with his wife. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry to bug you. Can I have 5 seconds for a picture? And
that's
then
so
he's like, oh, so what are you doing? So I had my daughter on my chest. She was like 3 months old. And he's telling my wife how she was doing a good job walking up the steep Mount Pisgah that he's famous for running up. Like, he didn't have to do that. I just wanted a picture. Super nice. Dan's great. I hung out with him quite a bit that day. Super nice guy. Trent and Trevor, salt of the earth. I think part of it is the mountains are just like the great equalizer.
yeah.
And when you get your butt kicked every year by the mountains, you're just like, I'm actually not that great. And it just kind of resets everybody's egos a bit, which is cool.
Yeah, it never fails me to have all these plans on like my Onyx or my Go Hunt Maps, whatever platform you're using. I'll have all these plans, and then I get there and I'm overwhelmed with how vast the country
Yeah,
is. I'm
every time.
like, this is way harder than what it looked like on my desktop. And
Yep.
I mean, some of those guys could give you probably their honey hole, and you probably wouldn't be successful
Yep.
because you got to be tough.
Well, and it's still hunting, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of the end of the day. Still
yeah,
hunting. There's still wild animals that have a great sense of smell, can hear better than us, and can see better than us. Not always, right? Elk can't see very well. But there's just always that factor.
yeah, yeah. And, and then you asked, we're talking about hunting now, but then this all goes back to being like self-sufficient,
Yep.
putting food on the table, and the reward of having those steaks at dinner, the burgers and the tacos, and um, as much as I hate to do it, well, I used to drop off my meat um,
Hmm.
because I was intimidated by it. But I had to start doing it myself. And
Yep.
I honestly hate doing it because it is so tedious,
Yeah. Takes a long time.
all that meat. But I would say it probably takes me 2 to 3 days because I work on it slowly. I tend to age it for a couple days anyway. In a huge, I've got one of those Yeti 210s. It
Yep.
actually seems like a walk-in cooler, but keeps the meat cold while I'm working on it. So I just trim it myself, cut as many steaks, and package it myself. And it's like, as much as I hate doing it, when I'm done, I'm like, okay, I just saved what, $250. That's going to a tag next year. So
Yep.
much as I'd like to drop it off now, um, I do, process my own meat now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And on that, you just reminded me of something. So my wife grew up, her dad has guns. He has handguns. Let's see. He does carry like sometimes, but he likes to have his handguns. So she grew up being comfortable with guns. It wasn't a big deal, but nobody hunted in her family. So we went to Montana. Well, before we got engaged, my test for my wife was we're going to Montana for 2 weeks. I'm gonna hunt every day, and I'll hang out with you after dark. It was rifle season, so I was back at like, 6:30. And she did good. She put up with it. I shot a couple deer. I was able to get a doe tag, so a B tag in Montana.
Yeah.
And 1 week after I shot a deer, I had butchered it up and I was cooking steaks for her parents at their house. And my wife goes, and you just reminded me of this exact phrase. She goes, 1 week ago, this steak was attached to a deer that was alive.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna eat it for dinner. She was like, that is so cool that we did everything for our dinner. And that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast because you do the hunting, you do the fishing, and then you do the gardening aspect of it. So
Yeah.
anybody's looking to follow you, where can they find you, Tyler?
Um, my Instagram handle is Tyler B4613. Um, I think I got a YouTube page, but I started it probably 15 years ago, and it was kind of when I was doing ornamental gardening, so it's not really. But mainly Instagram is where I'm on, and I mean I'm not the best uh, at posting. In fact, like one thing I've learned, and I should have known better. I did not take enough pictures of
Yeah,
YouTube,
it's hard. It's
and it,
hard in the moment.
my friend actually, Mitch, he's the one that was taking the grip and grin photos. And I wish I would have handed him my phone because I learned later that he had like a really old, like an Apple, like 5 or 6.
Oh,
So
that's a bummer.
these pictures, I'm like, oh man, these are so grainy. Whatever. It's still all good. But um, when I did that mountain goat, that I think that was the only hunt that I actually like. Well, I was solo on that hunt, and I took a tripod for obvious reasons for glassing with the spotting scope, but then I had the little adapter to hold my phone.
Yep.
I must have taken like 100 photos, and I would do even videos of me turning it. And yeah, that paid off. Not only just to have those photos, but then I actually I think that what was it? It was Hunt and Fool magazine. They published my story,
Oh, that's
and
cool. I didn't know that.
man, that I mean, say what you will about the state of Washington, it's beautiful. And
Oh,
I
sure.
go west of the Cascades, but when I was in Mount Baker hunting mountain goats, I mean, it was like
Yeah.
it is hard to beat. Beautiful country. I mean, you're like on another planet, and I still cannot believe that that hunt came together. But I've got the photos to look back on, and
Hmm.
yeah,
That's
great,
awesome.
great Billy from that hunt. But
Well, that's great. I want to hear about that another time. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. It's my turn to go take care of the kiddo. So thank you, Tyler, for jumping on the podcast. Everybody give Tyler a follow if you're interested in checking out his sweet buck or learning about how he just procures food from the landscape. So thanks everybody for listening. Thanks, Tyler, for joining me. And as always, if you haven't been moving, get moving, everybody. And if you are moving, stay moving. Catch you on the next podcast.